The entanglement in things, lifelong learning in Paleolithic and Neolithic by Donovan Plum, and consider the Karen Cave and the Ketahoyuk um, community in Turkey in conjunction with the movie Crash. And we'll be looking to some degree in terms of what is the importance of reflexivity in negotiating contemporary of socio-cultural environment, the cosmopolitanism, the challenges that that brings, and also consider, we'll begin with the role of traditional society in norm groups. So in traditional society, it was easier to maintain stable boundaries for norm groups. These traditional societies were less transient, spatially tighter knit. The roles and practices were more clearly defined by tradition. So even if you go back to 50 years ago in our societies, many of them, here in Canada, the man did the the wood cutting and the fishing or whatever, while the lady did the cleaning, house cleaning, and the baking. And it was a traditional lifestyle that both knew. They knew what their roles were. They were clearly defined by tradition from the beginning. So, and to extend that a little bit further, like traditional societies are not only defined by their geography, but also by their communities of practice, which affect their identity and promote and perpetuate their identity. So, for example, in some communities, it might be that it's a community of miners, it might be a community of shipbuilders, it might be a community of loggers. And in a lot of cases, it's often tied to the resources and the industry of the area where they live. So if we go to the example in Donovan's article in Turkey with the Karian Cave and Ketahoyuk, the Karian Cave was solid, durable, and the community of practice within that did not demand a lot of interaction because that cave was stable as it was. It didn't require collaboration in terms of fixing and repairing or whatever. Whereas in Ketahoyuk, the clay was unstable, and that, in a sense, created a greater opportunity for collaboration. So the instability of the clay provided more opportunity compared to the less opportunity for interaction in terms of with other communities of practice such as Karian. So it's almost like, in some ways, if you look at the chicken coming out of the egg, if you help the egg or help the chicken come out of the egg, then they don't develop the muscle strength in order to be able to survive when they get out. Whereas when the chicken is inside of the egg, then just by pecking at the inside of the shell, then that develops the musculature in the baby chick to so that it can survive when it does get outside. And I kind of look at this here as a similar type of scenario whereby when it's challenging, then people respond as a community of practice to collaborate to learn and grow their knowledge and their learning base in order to survive. In the movie Crash, we see a contemporary cosmopolitan society with a complex array of communities of practices. So there's many different types, from the black filmmaker, film director, the white cops, one which is perceived as good and one which is not initially. The two black guys that were doing the stealing, and then in the end one that had become good, etc. But there's a wide range of communities of practice within this film, that many of which embody very different norms and values. So the values and norms of each are different. The district attorney would do anything to politically survive, even if that meant framing someone, etc. And to him, that there was completely acceptable. The role of reflexivity is important in helping us negotiate um, the complexity of our contemporary social cultural environment. And just some of the examples in the movie Crash, where the individuals came to, through reflexivity, they came to realize and see things in what we would term as, I guess, a good light. They went from being not, let's say, good, but to reaching a stage where they were making good decisions and seeing things that were valuable to the norms of society. So the district attorney's wife, for example, after she fell, she came to realize that, well, she has been angry for a long time. She didn't know why, but for everyone to look at her from the outside, they would ask, well, why should she be angry? She has everything that she wants. She's white, she's big house, big, etc. And she had everything, to the person on the outside. But after the fall, then she became reflexive and saw that, she had to change herself in the way that she did things and see things. The guy who shot the child, he was fortunate that it was only a blank in the gun, and but it made him very, very reflexive, and in terms of what it was that he did do. And so again, it brought the individual down to a human level, and the reflexivity in that there was very poignant. The film director and his wife, by the end of it, the guy with his dad, etc. The two white cops, both of them had moments of reflexivity. The bad guy initially, that was nasty to the woman, he later on he asked her if he could put his hand to cut the seatbelt. And the black guy gone good, he reached a point that he could have sold the van with all of the people in it, but he chose not to. He made a conscious decision to do good. So reflexivity is that opportunity. It's a form of communication, whether it's internal, external, or both. And there is learning that occurs within this, within the reflexive process. And I know even just from doing the Margaret Archer piece, the reflexivity in terms of going through that process of doing that, and where I did my autobiographical piece within that, just the reflexive chunk in that theater, I learned more about why it was that I am doing what I am. So reflexivity is enhanced by interaction between norm circles and communities of practice. This adds awareness, and reflexivity fosters learning and understanding and respect. So ultimately the reflexivity is an important piece, and when it goes between norm circles, such as in the movie Crash, where there's the interaction between the different norm circles, then that there adds to the awareness and understanding of each other, and ultimately this leads to a sense of respect. Cosmopolitanism challenges our thinking about the role of education in modern society, because when you look at it, is the common curriculum that's prevalent in today's educational system capable of meeting the needs of such a diverse and changing populace, and likely less stable than a homogeneous society? So the fact that you have a cosmopolitan clientele in terms of that, then that makes it more difficult to deliver a curriculum that is relatable and meaningful to all of these. And I think that this here links in with Wenger's piece of what is the minimum common curriculum necessary to be delivered in a society, and also in terms of Archer's piece, in terms of making the curriculum meaningful to the individuals. So I think that there is one of the challenges and the linkages that we can kind of take from this, that with the cosmopolitan society, educational clientele, then maybe we should be looking at a minimum common curriculum, and also making it meaningful. So it can have the opportunity for both, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be that way. So just like the people in Catahoya, the instability of the clay offered greater opportunity for collaborative learning. Perhaps the instability of a cosmopolitan with many different norm circles and communities of practice within an educational system, that there is certainly less stable, more volatile potentially, then maybe that offers a greater opportunity for learning and more developmental opportunities. So that there is where we'll leave it for today. It is an opportunity and something that has the ability, I feel, that in the long term it can lead to greater learning for all. Thank you.